Welcome back to the Barley Lads. As always, I'm Zane with Bryce behind the camera. Today, we're reviewing Green Spot Irish Whiskey. This is Green Spot Irish Whiskey. This is a single pot still Irish whiskey out of the Midleton Distillery in Midleton, County Cork. ABV of 40% or 80 proof. It's a non-age statement, but it's aged between 7 to 10 years. Price-wise, you should be able to get this between $55 and $70. Mash bill, as a single pot still, it has to be at least 30% malted and 30% unmalted barley. So Green Spot. Green Spot has a lot of history. This is coming originally out of Dublin with this has the Mitchell and Son name on it. Mitchell and Son is actually a wine merchant, and they still have a shop in Dublin at, I believe, 10 Grafton Street. So basically the heart of Dublin. And I believe they opened in, let me look at my notes, 1805. And it's still under the same stewardship of the Mitchell family. I think they're on their 4th or 5th generation in terms of whiskey bonding. As wine merchants, they would be purchasing barrels from Spain, France, places around Europe that are producing wine at the time. And after they empty those barrels, they wanted a second use for those. So they would take those barrels down to the Jameson distillery that used to be in Dublin, and they would have those filled with Jameson pot still whiskey. And what they would do, because a lot of their employees at the time were illiterate, they would just mark the barrels with spots. So in the spot range, you have green, yellow, red, and a recently added back into the lineup of blue spot. And so they would take dabs of paint and they would dab the front of each barrel with the color corresponding to the age. Blue was 7 years, green was 10, yellow was 12, and red was 15 years. Green became the most popular of those, which is why it's still around today and lasted as long as it has, even through all the tumultuous times of Irish whiskey, which I have covered in previous videos. It used to have a 10-year age statement. That is no longer on the bottle, so it's a non-age statement, but they say that it's between 7 to 10 years. It's going to be a mixture of bourbon barrels as well as sherry barrels. So you're getting some of that sherry influence. And I've had this many times before, as you can tell from the bottle. So my tasting notes are from not just this time, but many times over. You're going to get green apple. You're going to get a lot of those pot still spices. Green Spot is a fantastic whiskey, and there's a reason that this brand has been around for over 100 years. So again, on the nose, like I said, strong green apple. It is sweet, but you still get those pot still spices. Yeah, yep, it's good. It's not my favorite of the Midleton pot stills. It doesn't quite compete with Redbreast for me, but this is Bryce's favorite Irish whiskey. On the taste, you're still getting some of that green apple, but almost like caramel apple, candied, rounder. You still get the viscous oiliness that you expect from a pot still. It does have a nice long finish. Beautiful color on this. This is a yeah, like I said, over 100 years. A classic Irish pot still whiskey. It is also the only continuously produced pot still Irish whiskey since the early 1900s, whereas Redbreast actually stopped production in the 80s because of all the turnover and things that were happening with Irish distillers between Jameson and Powers and things like that. But the Mitchell and Son family was able to make a deal with the Irish distillers to keep that brand going, and we are thankful for them to this day to keep those green spots coming. And thankfully, with the health of Irish whiskey today, as it's still growing. We are seeing yellow spot again, which came out I think 10 or 15 years ago. Red spot came back a handful of years ago, and blue spot just came back this past year. So thank you for the Mitchell & Sons and Irish Distillers for keeping those alive. Thank you again for watching another episode of the Barley Lads. As always, I'm Zane, Bryce behind the camera. Today we've been talking about green spot. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get those notifications when we post new videos. Slàinte.